time. It's time. It's time. It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy. Yeah. 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 It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time.
How the fuck you got me up this damn early, Jason?
It's time.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah!
All right. Yeah, somebody's got to do it. It's been a while. We haven't seen the Jester or the Juice, so I have to say, but the Jester is on location in Honduras. The Juice is just a tired, whiny old man and just couldn't make it tonight. So let's start with our introductions. We got a busy show for you tonight. Nick, you got Flandered Macaronis.
Yes, hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And as I've always said before, you can be at anywhere, listen to any fantasy football podcast, but you have chosen the premier, most comprehensive podcast there is, TSSFantasy.com. And my name is Nick, you got Flandered. And if you're looking for any Christmas gifts, we have merchandise just for you. You can find us at podcast-network.creator-spring.com.
Bling, bling, indeed. And yes, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I do have the windows up incorrectly. No matter how many times I practice it, I still fuck it up. All right, let's welcome into the studio Dr. Jeffrey Miller. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you, guys. Coming up on today's house call, I've got number one, a told you so to one of my co-hosts here tonight. And number two, going to talk about one of the luckiest men in football.
Ooh, all right. I love it. I love it. All right, yeah, speaking of that, we do have a busy show tonight. I just want to mention, please visit us at tssfantasy.com for all our latest rankings. I just put mine up, and Nick's got his done, so they should be up. We'll probably be waiting on the Jester and, like I said, the old man, so might take a little bit for them, but you can check us out. We've got ours tonight ready to rumble. So if you're already wondering what to put in your lineup, me and Nick got you covered. And as proud members of the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network, please visit Belly Up and all its podcasts. We have everything under the sun, and you can check us out every morning on Unhinged Radio at 8 a.m. So make us part of your morning commute. Now, we were just talking about it, so let's do it. Let's start with Dr. Miller's house call.
He's the one that calls Dr. Feel. He's the one that makes you feel all right. He's the one that calls Dr. Feel. He's gonna be your Frankenstein. I got one.
Yeah, all right, let's go.
That was worth the wait.
That was fire.
A couple of weeks, and I am really glad we waited. That was outstanding.
Thank you. I actually just did that myself because I was tired of waiting.
So
all right, my friend,
we'll start with the old man on today's list. And as I watched him get hit this weekend, that hit looked eerily similar to what we saw Tua Tagovailoa go down with a couple of years ago. And I was pretty confident we were going to see some acetabular and or a posterior wall fracture. So real quick anatomy. At the hip, we've got the ball, which is the head of the femur, and the socket, which is the acetabulum of the innominate bone. When the ball is jammed into the socket, we end up with a fracture of the acetabulum. And I was expecting that. And so Ryan Fitzpatrick is incredibly fortunate that the MRI done on Monday revealed only that subluxation, partial dislocation, and not, in fact, any bony or acetabular damage. I was super encouraged to watch him get up and walk off the field. So he's in good shape because it wasn't as significant as it could have been. Big butt for this, though. He's 38, turns 39 later this year. I'm concerned that the initial timeline of 6 to 8 weeks is too ambitious. This may not only be season-ending, this may, in fact, be career-ending for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Very concerned about his ability to recover at 38, 39 It's going to certainly take him longer than it took Tua, who admittedly have a more significant injury, but it's going to take him a lot longer than it did Tua at 22, 21 years old.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's when I saw that hit myself, and I think Nick mentioned it that night that it was like it's almost like it was time to put him out to pasture almost. It didn't look good, and like you said, the age coupled with that type of injury and where it is certainly concerning to say the least. All right, who else we got? Go ahead.
He's a tough dude because if I'm going to dislocate my hip, I'm not walking off the field. So mad respect to Ryan Fitzpatrick for walking that off. I could not have done it in his shoes.
Indeed. We all love Fitzy, that's for sure. All right, let's go to Denver with Jerry Jeudy. Unfortunately, it looks like he took a nasty ankle injury there. Looked pretty bad. What's your thoughts on him and what you found out about him?
Actually, in my notes, I wrote nasty injury. This was just brutal to watch. And I'm going to say at the start of this that Jerry Jeudy is the luckiest guy in the NFL today. Because watching the video, I was pretty confident we were looking at a fractured dislocation of the ankle, similar to what Alex Smith had a couple years ago and what Dak Prescott has last year. So the fact that it wasn't a fractured dislocation is truly extraordinary. The way his leg rolled up over his foot, the way his knee buckled, the fact that he's getting by with as little injury as he has and with what we're going to talk about is truly remarkable. So looks like all that we're dealing with is a high ankle sprain. And that's nothing small. But again, in comparison to what I was expecting, it's remarkable. When you look at the force to his knee that forced it inward, I was expecting a medial collateral or medial meniscal tear. Didn't have either of those. When you look at the force at his ankle, it's remarkable he didn't have a medial ankle sprain as well. So what we're dealing with here, anatomically, is a sprain of the high ankle, which is the ligament, the syndesmosis, connecting the two lower leg bones. Now, it holds them nice and tight together. However, when it's sprained, we have an overstretch injury, the lower leg bones are allowed to separate excessively, which means every step he takes is going to be painful as the distal tibia and fibula separate. So what he's dealing with is that. Got a couple of options. If it's minor enough, rest, rehab, maybe 4 to 6, 6 to 8 weeks. Looking at the brutality or the nastiness, as you put it, of that hit, I think we're at the 8-week mark, maybe more, even though the initial reports, again, are coming back 4 to 6 weeks. Haven't heard whether he's going to be a surgical candidate. I'm going to cite Tua Tagovailoa, your quarterback, for the second time tonight. Tua's had that tightrope procedure to both ankles in the last couple of years. So certainly Jerry Jeudy may be a candidate for that procedure, but I haven't heard anything yet on whether he's going to be a surgical candidate. As we look forward, if he has any remaining season in him, it's not going to be a good season. When you have that high ankle sprain, you're just not going to be the same player until the next year. You look at Michael Thomas, CMC Kamara, the seasons they had their high ankle sprain, they were a shell of themselves until the following season. So Jeudy is not going to be a big producer the remainder of this year. Go ahead and put him on the IR, drop him. I just don't see him producing. It's going to take him time to be able to weight bear, run, jump, land, cut. And this is a good route runner. He needs to be able to run, jump, land, cut in order to be effective. So luckiest man that's all that happened, but throw him off your fantasy team. Not a contributor this year.
Oh, that's big news right there. A lot of Jerry Jeudy owners with a lot of high expectations for him this year. All right, let's go to someone that I personally had no high expectations on because this seems to happen quite frequently. I know I brought him up to you during the percent to the benches that we had. I know it wasn't a lot remarkable you found with him, but I had a feeling this was going to happen, and here he is, Raheem Mostert, right back to injury status. What you got on Raheem?
Yeah, so a little bit cagey as far as exactly what's happening. To quote the coach, he's got chipped cartilage in his knee. Cartilage doesn't really chip, it tears. So in the event he's got a cartilaginous tear, we're looking at him being out about 8 weeks, depending on how they manage this. There's a number of different surgical options they have. Pre-show, we were talking about stem cells, PRP. There's a couple of different injection options to help the cartilage promote new growth. That's a possibility. they may just do an arthroscopic surgery and shave out any of the torn cartilage. That's another possibility. Long term, it's going to lead to early osteoarthritis in the knee. But if you're a team owner, you don't really care about his long-term outcomes, right? You want him to produce this season. So as far as procedures go, a quick arthroscope to the knee is going to be his fastest return to the field. But even then, 6 to 8 weeks, I'm expecting with him.
All right, and we're going to end the house call tonight on somebody that I have a bone to pick with you, sir, because you were very high on this guy all year, all before the bullish, out of all of them, OBJ, you were high on. So, and I had a Sunday morning show. I don't know if you're aware, but I just decided off a whim to do a little Sunday morning show. Talk about players and so I'm literally telling folks, hey, listen, we're not still sure about OBJ yet. So if you have somebody at 1 o'clock, play him. And then I literally go back and sit down and I'm watching pregame and I saw somewhere it said OBJ full go, no limitations. So then I insert him back in, and then lo and behold, later on during the day, I see the guy sitting on the sideline because I didn't bother to check anything else. So what do you got on OBJ? Is this guy going to play this week or what?
Yeah, so real quick, the current news, he was originally listed as questionable and didn't feel ready in warm-up, so ended up sitting out. If we go back and replay the tape, which I think we should go replay the tape from a couple of months ago, I said he was 20% of the bench. Quote, once he returns, his surgery was November 10th of 2020. So, and I said there's video of him running on a treadmill. I actually said this twice. And that was from March. Mm-hmm. Awesome 4-month recovery to be running on a treadmill. But running on a treadmill, untouched, unperturbated, is entirely different than running and being hit. So I said 20% of the bench once he returns, but I'm not so sure he's going to return for week 1. So next show, if you'd pull up that tape so that we completely quote instead of maybe pick and choose the quotes we want, that'd be awesome.
That's show business. That's what we do in show business, right?
Well done, my friend.
So that guy just, like I said, I didn't know, and especially we had been talking about it so much, and Saquon was the guy that we were really not sure about, and when I saw him play, I thought, well, for sure OBJ's playing. I don't think there's no doubt about it. So anyway, that's on me. You have anything else tonight before we close out the house call?
No, this was a fun week. Really excited that the season started, and hopefully we have nothing to talk about next week. Hopefully everybody stays in the field, but looks like Nick's got something.
Yes,
sir.
Nick.
Dr. Miller,
Sir.
I thought you were going to say that the luckiest player in the NFL is Russell Wilson.
Didn't see much of them this weekend. Did he escape something?
No, I was referring to Sierra.
There you go.
And with that,
man, commish, must be hard trying to get us clowns to come together for the show.
Yeah, especially keeping us motivated during the Jeffter snack breaks.
It's almost like we need a counselor or someone to at least consult us because we don't know what we're doing.
Luckily for us, we signed the best coach in the business, Vision Coach and Consulting.
They have led the way for business professionals for over 20 years.
Yeah, you know what? They offer business coaching, life coaching, and consulting services that can put you back on the track for your personal goals.
You don't say, Nick. You know what? Check them out today at coachingandleading.org or on Facebook or Twitter at their handle, Coach Lead Win.
Vision Coaching and Consulting, because every champion has a coach.
well, I know who wasn't a champion last night and needed a coach was Lamar Jackson. What a football game last night. And admittedly, I'm just going to go ahead and admit it. I'd watched a lot of football weekend, and, I'm sitting here like, all right, let's see what the Monday night. I wasn't excited for it. I had already been beaten already with my fantasy team. So I was a little already upset with what was going on. So it's 14-0. I'm starting to head bob. I'm like, you know what? Bump it. I don't need to see this. This is going to be a whooping, right? So then I wake up to my dad texting me, "What? It was one of the greatest games I've ever seen." What? Safe? course, I miss it. So great game, obviously, last night. Watched a little bit of the highlights. 235 yards for Lamar. I mean, it was almost a pedestrian night, but he did run a lot. That was something that, the reason why I had him ranked number one was because of the rushing. So he ended up with 86 yards on the ground. Sammy Watkins, I had talked about him on that morning show, talking about being a sleeper. 4 catches for 96 yards. I mean, not too shabby production for Sammy. I mean, again, one of those situations where, who were they throwing to there? We saw again, Marquise Brown show up. We know what's up with him. It's kind of an up and down thing. Derek Carr, wow, what a performance. 435 yards and 2 touchdowns. Derek Carr, he comes to play every now and again. He definitely came to play last night. Josh Jacobs, 34 yards, 2 TDs. And again, Darren Waller, huge night, 10 receptions, 105 yards and a touchdown. Really came to play last night. So any takeaway from Monday night as we closed out week 1, Nick?
I would a couple of things. Number one, excuse me. The fact that Lamar had to run so much tells me, number one, they don't really have much faith in their backfield at this point. I did see Latavius Murray did carry 10 for 28 and a touch, which was good, right? But also, it also tells me either A, Baltimore's receivers are not very good because they're not getting separation downfield, which we couldn't see off camera. Or B, Vegas's defense is much better than what we thought, at least yesterday. And again, Derek Carr can play. He's just on the wrong team. He's really he's just on the wrong. I'm sorry. Gruden's great in the booth, but not so much on the sidelines anymore. I mean, the game has passed him by. But I mean, for 435 yards, and I thought it was a great game. And Darren Waller had 19 targets. What tight end gets 19 targets? Again, it tells me that they don't have any receivers either. So The only guy worth picking up on the receiving core for Las Vegas is Darren Waller. And Jacobs, evidently he had a toe issue, so he can only carry the ball 10 times, but he got 2 short yardage scores. So, I mean, they did what they had to do to win the game. It was an ugly win, but a win is a win is a win.
A W is a W, as they say indeed. And again, the Mark Andrews, I had him ranked number 1 because of the theory, what happened with Darren Waller. I just thought that they would just be throwing to basically Mark Andrews, because who do they have to throw to in Baltimore? Well, again, the same theory applies to Las Vegas. There's really not much to throw to. We got Ruggs, a few other people, but other than that, it's Darren Waller's show apparently. So again, for those who drafted Waller, you certainly got it's paid off last night. And some interesting people to look out for going forward. All right, let's go on to our waiver wire additions. Everyone's putting in those waiver wire claims tonight. I put up on our screen some guys that, some people may have. I mean, I even saw Jameis Winston not being rostered in a lot of leagues. So I just threw that up there. I think that's kind of obvious. Don't need to really talk about that. I have a list of folks that, I don't have a top 5. So I'm just going to highlight the top 5 that I have. You can comment, Nick, off of, who I have and if you have a top 5 as well. So obviously, Eddie Mitchell, the, running back for the 49ers. Obviously, that's going to be the first number 1 guy. You always want to get the solid, guy that's coming up. Trey Sermon might end up being that guy there, but we just don't know with the 49ers. And it's the main reason why I said in the beginning of the season not to draft them, because this is what happens. And, his offense, when Shanahan's offense, he just likes to feature a bunch of backs. So great for the 49ers, as I said, but it's not great for fantasy. So, I would add him, but, I wouldn't, if I was, a number 1 claim and you're in that league that puts you back at the bottom, I'm not necessarily sure I would use it yet. I mean, this is not the guy that's going to take over the starting job, although a great day nonetheless when he did step in. My number 2 guy is Jamal Williams. So if he's not rostered in your league, you definitely need to roster him. I talked to him about him on Sunday. I've talked to him about him in the preseason. I talked about him being the guy that's going to take the majority of the carries because Dan Campbell is a hard-nosed guy and Jamal Williams is a hard-nosed running back, and it played out right from game 1. Swift still got his touches in there, but Jamal Williams definitely got his, and he looked great when he did it. Number 3 I got is Christian Kirk. I also, if you've listened to us in the offseason, I've talked about Christian Kirk quite a few times, and he's in a great offense. So why would you not want to get maybe the number 2 guy and a very prolific offense? Christian Kirk definitely is somebody to make a waiver claim for. Tim Patrick, I know Nick talks about him quite frequently. Now with Jerry Jeudy being gone, as we talked to Dr. Miller about, and enter Tim Patrick. So I got him as number 4. And number 5, if he's not on your roster, I would definitely make a play for him, Mark Ingram. You know, he's taken over that starting role in Houston, and he's the guy when it comes to the goal line carry. So I would definitely roster Mark Ingram if he's not rostered already. Nick, you got some guys you like to highlight, or do you have a top 5 as well?
All right. Well, you already got 2 of mine. I got Kirk and Mitchell. All right. You've already said Kirk and Mitchell, right? Zach Pascal, because now that T.Y. is out, he's also a Wentz target. I guess maybe he's going to be the new safety blanket for Wentz, maybe perhaps. And then one guy I believe I told you about, or I think I mentioned to you, Jawan Johnson, the tight end from New Orleans. He is Darren Waller 2.0. He used to be a wide receiver. I know of him because he was a Penn Stater, and then he went to Oregon. And then he was undrafted, and then now he's in New Orleans. Now he's a tight end. He had 14 fantasy points last week. You can also throw in there Van Jefferson. And you can also throw in there, it's a homer, but you can try and pick up Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor might get the underneath stuff. He had 10 points last week. He had a touchdown. So to add to your list, Jason, that's who I would pick up. But I'd really target running backs. As you had mentioned before, that's what you're stable in. And it always comes down to the end of the year. I need a back. So the more backs you can possibly get. I know it's a passing league now, but the running backs are such a hot commodity, and they're so scarce. And we talked about it earlier during your draft. After pick 8, it was like slim pickings for a while. So if you can get it back and stash them.
Yeah, somebody you didn't mention, I thought that's where you're going as far as Homer, is also Kenneth Gainwell. After watching that game, I was very interested in me. I didn't see Scott at all. I was nowhere to be found. No. All I saw was Kenneth Gainwell, and in crucial situations, he was in there. So I think they like this guy a lot, and I was really impressed. I made mention of it actually while watching the game. I said, that's somebody right off the jump. Before he even scored, I was like, that might be somebody we need to target in fantasy. He looked pretty good, and they were looking to go to him. Go ahead, Nick.
In fact, as you know, and I previously mentioned, I follow the Eagles from time to time, and their training camp. And it was reported that Nick Sirianni said that Gainwell reminded him a lot of Jonathan Taylor last year. So if you like Jonathan Taylor, and you got a guy kind of like Jonathan Taylor, you're going to use them like Jonathan Taylor.
Sure. Now, well, we know everyone on this show seems to love Jonathan Taylor, apparently. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I think at least maybe one does anyway. All right, let's go on to Thursday night. Let's do a quick Thursday night preview because, it comes up quick this NFL season, how crazy. Like when it comes like, oh, God, it's Thursday already, believe it or not. So we got the Giants at FT. I mean, this is a interesting, old school matchup. But now with the injury to Fitzy, we got Tyler. If I pronounce the name, I can't even pronounce his name. I'm not even gonna try it. Every time I try to do it, I screw it up. Thank you, because I always say Heineken. Maybe it's just used Same to thing. Mr. Heineken. He actually last year in 3 games, including that loss to Tampa in the playoffs. 565 yards, 3 TDs, and 1 interception. What that kind of smells to me is pedestrian. It's kind of the feeling, after, that many games. Did a decent job, though, when he came in. 122 yards and a touchdown. So not too bad filling the role. And obviously he was targeting McLaurin a lot, during that game. So, I mean, and why not? You're going to go to your number one guy. So looking at this matchup overall, I have Daniel Jones this week ranked 28th because it's a bad matchup, and that line just is not looking that good, and neither is that offense. I have Barkley 17th. And I did put the Giants defense in at number 20, making my top 20 list only because of the, replacement at quarterback. Again, he does look efficient, but they look a little pedestrian as well. So that might be, who knows, but it also could be turnover time too as well. Don't know. I have Gibson this week as my number 10 running back going against that Giants defense. McLaurin at 21. He still got targeted a lot, so I still see him being a wide receiver 2 play for you this week. But cautions obviously with the change at quarterback. I like Logan Thomas a lot more at number 6 to be that safety outlet for him. So I do think that he might have a decent day against that defense. And speaking of defense, I have FT at number 8 this week going against a line that just didn't look good and an offense that didn't look good. Nick, your thoughts on Thursday night football?
I'm hoping Thursday night football is going to get back to that old 80s slobber knocker, ground and pound. Because number one, I don't trust Danny Dimes. I'm going to call him Danny Pennies because he's not very good. His best play ever was when the one he ran 85 yards and then tripped over the 20-yard line. I think the whole thing's going to come down to two things: is Saquon healthy? Can he run the ball? And can Washington's defense stop him? I have about all the same rankings as you do, maybe a few little variable differences, but it's going to come down to the offense runs through Saquon and can Saquon sustain it. Now, Sterling Shepard, I don't have his exact stats on me, but last season, last week, he had 132 yards. So, So he can catch the ball. Kenny Golladay needs to show up, but it's all going to depend on who controls the line. And at this point, I'm going to give the edge to Washington because Washington's defensive line is one of the best, if not the best, in the league. It's definitely best in the NFC East. All right, but it's going to come down to defense and if the fact that Saquon can run the ball. Is he going to be a pitch count? He supposedly wasn't on a pitch count last week, but he only carried the ball 10 times rather. He only carried the ball 10 times. So again, it's going to be about game planning. They're on a short week, and usually the defense is better on a short week rather than the offense.
Agreed. And the home team also has the advantage as well. So again, all in favor of FT going into Thursday night. I like them big in this game. And like I said, I like to see the defense kind of take over. You mentioned Sterling Shepard, and we will get to him in a second. He was a big surprise in week 1, which it's really ironic because I had a friend of mine who drafted him early in another league of mine, and man, did I give him some shit. And boy, oh boy, how funny it was when I saw Sterling Shepard streak down the field. I said, oh God, I'm never going to end of this one.
Here it goes.
Ironic. Isn't it funny how the fantasy world works? All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to start with a new segment. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the island. Island Peppa Skincare Products. Love your skin your way. Stop by today at islandpeppaskincare.com to look at our variety of products for both men and women. Because in the islands, the peppa is always black.
The peppa is always black indeed. All right, so I said we got a new segment, and we do. Let's start with the Stat Check. right, so in the Stack Shack, I just basically wanted to go over some of the leaders that we currently have right now after week one. This is overreaction Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it is. So everyone wants to overreact, and I want to bring up who's actually the meat and potatoes, who's actually putting up the points and doing work for you, and who's not. So after week one, all right, we're going to go to the top 10 quarterbacks are Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, mind you, at number 3, Jameis Winston at number 4. We talked about him. I mean, wow, great. He had a great game. He's very efficient. Tom Brady at number 5, Jalen Hurts at number 6. Look at those rankings from last week. Exactly where I had him. Dak Prescott, number 7, not where I had him. Number 8, Russell Wilson. Number 9, big surprise, Derek Carr. So that was, like we said, we talked about the big night. And number 10, Matthew Stafford. He came to play. Someone I didn't mention, I forgot to mention for the waiver wire as well, but came in at number 11. How about Tyrod Taylor, by the way? Great.
Yes, how about Tyrod?
Totally forgot. If you need a little backup quarterback, definitely jump on that train if you need something. So out of those, I'm going to give you those. I gave you those top 10, Nick, and you can tell me. Now we have 2 little mixed new segments. So out of the 10 out of the quarterbacks, let's do Nick's new segment as well. Champ or chump. So you tell me who's champ or chump out of those.
All right. So, I'm sorry. Just can you give me? Tell you what. Give me your core, and then I'll tell you if it's a champ or a chump.
Okay, well that's why I was giving you the top 10 there. So out of the top,
memorize all of them. So
they're scrolling there at the bottom, but I'll.
You know what? I am a dumbass. I am not Ron Burgundy. So,
all right.
My champs. I'll just go with Murray, obviously. Mahomes. And I will go, you know what? I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts, not too many people expected anything, myself included, out of Jalen Hurts. So those would be my top 3 quarterback champs this week.
All right.
As far as my chumps, I'm going to go number 1. I hate to say it. I'm going to go with the bad man because he played really bad. Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
Aaron Rodgers came in and did diddly squat last week. I think he had maybe, if whatever league you were playing in, I think maybe he got you maybe 6 points at most. He was awful. So he is my quarterback chump of the week.
The chump of the week. All right, I'm gonna have to find some new music and new graphics for that one. I like that. The chump of the week. Yeah. All right, let's go on to running backs. Talk about the running back leaders. Ironically, I hope Ryan Krepp is listening. I hope you're listening. So I really do. I really hope you are, because I'm about to give you some major credit. The safe pick, Joe Mixon, is the clubhouse leader for running backs with 21 points, actually, overall. Nick Chubb, number 2. Christian McCaffrey came in at number 3. David Montgomery, number 4, which, by the way, I like his matchup this week, too, so he's somebody to watch. Melvin Gordon came in, was a big surprise, had a big run at the end. I think that was pretty much why he came up as high as he did. Jamal Williams, talked about him a minute ago, and then right below him, DeAndre Swift. I mean, so good running game in Detroit. Against a vaunted Niners defense, by the way. Elijah Mitchell, speaking of that same game, Niners and Lions, there was a lot of points to go around. Josh Jacobs, we talked about him being injured, but still got in that end zone, so that's all you really need to do. And Tyson Williams, he had that nice run early, and like I said, I fell asleep, so I don't really know what else happened after that other than the stats that I read. And then came in at 11. I just wanted to mention Alvin Kamara, and I try to tell you guys to watch out for him because of the touchdown. production last year is why he was so high. If he doesn't get in the end zone, might have problems with Jameis Winston thrown on the field. All right, so champs or chumps out of our top 10 there, Nick.
First of all, I want to talk about three players in particular. Joe Mixon, big surprise. You got to give him a champ. Okay. Nick Chubb, you always know what you're going to get out of him. Christian McCaffrey, pretty much out of him. I'm going to call Gordon a chump only for the reason of he got 100 and some odd yards, but he got 70 of them on one carry. So he'd be my chump. But my big champ of last week in the running back stable has got to be Elijah Mitchell, because nobody ever heard of him. And then he comes out, busts out. I mean, granted, he played Detroit, but still, I mean, gets 119 yards. Come on. So also my other chump, he was not mentioned. I hate to say it too, was Derrick Henry. He was another chump, because I'll tell you what, he laid a big old flat tire for a lot of people against a surprising champ defense of the Arizona Cardinals. So he's gonna be my second running back chump of the week.
Oh man, God, you just opened up a wound for me right there.
Didn't mean to, sir.
Yeah, my number one overall guy. I mean, and it was really game flow dictated that game, Arizona. And I'll be honest with you, looking at this game this week, it might be the same. They're playing Seattle. I mean, I don't know. It might just be the same damn thing all over again. I'm really nervous about this week for Derrick Henry. All right, but we'll get back to that later. All right, let's go now to receivers. All right. Let's look at this receiving list. All right, so Tyreek Hill, our number one lead of the clubhouse, 26 points. Number 2, Amari Cooper. Can't forget that night he had. Deebo Samuel, number 3. Tyler Lockett in at number 4. Corey Davis, number 5. We have Adam Thielen at number 6. DeAndre Hopkins at number 7. Christian Kirk, mentioned him before. Go get him on your waiver wire. At number 8, Antonio Brown. And I wanted to ask you about that later when we talk about our rankings. You don't even have Antonio Brown in your top 40 or 50, whatever we had it at. Okay, good. I was looking it over like, where did Antonio Brown on next list? All right, just making sure. All right. And at number 10, again, Sterling Shepard, bringing this guy up. So, all right, let's talk about these guys. Champs or chumps for you out of that?
All right. So I'm going to go as sleeper champ. Got to be Deebo Samuels. He's got to be in there in the champ. We've been bagging on him, this guy, for the season because of his age. Adam Thielen. You got to have Adam Thielen. And the ultimate champ this week has got to be another damn Arizona Cardinal with Christian Captain Kirk. I'm telling you what, he showed up, he showed out, he did his thing, and again, he has supplanted himself as the number 2 option behind D-Hop. We kind of knew that AJ Green wasn't going to do anything because of his age, and Fitzgerald just said, like, dude, I'm out of here. So he's not been coming back. He's I'm not feeling it. He's going to pull. He's going to kind of pull. He went the other way with the Aaron Rodgers, 50-50. I'm going to play. I'm not going to play. He chose not to play. But I would say my chump, is I'm going to have to go with Keenan Allen, only because he didn't score. I needed him to score. Yeah, he got 100 yards.
I needed him to score.
That's nice.
It's not a personal podcast. This is like
okay, fine. DJ Moore, who is as highly touted a hit as he was, he only got 9 points.
I mean, listen. Let me take over your segment. All right,
sure.
The chump of the week is Devonta Adams. That's the chump of the week. Come in. He was in some leagues, like they were taking him in the first round. Dependent. He is the number 62 receiver this week. That is most definitely the chump. Let's talk about other chumps. How about Calvin Ridley, 65 receiver? Like, all right, we can keep going here with chumps.
Well, because Calvin Ridley was up against that vaunted Philadelphia Eagles defense. So you know what? I'm gonna give him a pass.
Listen, I'm gonna be straight with you. I was really shocked how well that defense played. But this is not the Philly show. Let's some more chumps for you. I was ready for this segment, but I forgot. I slipped up earlier. Julio Jones. How about another chump? 78th receiver. 78th, people. 78th. And here is a really good one for you. All right, because I know some of you guys went high for this guy. Mike Evans, 86th receiver.
Yeah,
86th. I told you guys earlier in the morning about that receiving core. It is just like the San Francisco receiving core and their running back situation. You don't know who's going to be the guy. That's why I would caution you about drafting those guys. All right, let's move on to the tight ends. We'll go with the clubhouse leader is Gronk, number 1 tight end. He had 21 points. Travis Kelce, number 2. TJ Hawkinson, number 3. Number 4, Darren Waller. Number 5, your boy, Jawan Johnson. Number 6, Goddard. Number 7, Logan Thomas. Number 8, Chris Manhertz from the Jacksonville Jaguars, in case you didn't know where he was from. Number 9, Gerald Everett. And number 10, George Kittle. Also making almost the top 10. I believe you mentioned him on Sunday night. David Njoku made a sighting. He came in at number 11. All right, so champs or chumps out of these people, the tight end peoples.
The tight end peoples. Okay, so I got champs. All right, I got George Kittle. All right, George Kittle, and I also have Rob Gronkowski as one of my big champs of the week. Darren Waller, again, 19 targets, 10 receptions, touchdown. And my big tight end champ of the week, I'm going for it again, Juwan Johnson out of the New Orleans Saints. All right. So, again, Juwan Johnson is going to be the big champ. Now, I got my chumps.
Okay, let's hear. I'm ready if you're missing.
You know what? I know you are, and I don't think you're going to disagree with me too much on these chumps. My first chump is going to be my sleeper, and believe me, he was in a coma, was Anthony Fursker. He got 1.9 points. Wah, wah, wah.
He was the 36th ranked tight end this week.
Was he now?
Yes.
All right. Also, Mark Andrews did not show up last night at all. I don't know where he was. I don't know if he was still stuck on the plane, but he got a whopping 2.
The 34th ranked tight end that the commish had ranked number 1 overall.
And my biggest disappointment this week, couldn't even score a whole point. Couldn't even get a score a whole point. Was Robert Tonyan. He got 0.8. I don't know where he was ranked, but if he was last, he was ranked too high. I'm telling you that right now. Aaron, again, it all pinches on Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers wants to go and play, he's going to play. If he doesn't want to play, put in Jordan Love. What else you got to lose? But, so he got me a 0.8 and everybody else out there. Thank you, Aaron Rodgers. I blame you, sir. You.
Yeah, I don't, not to get on an Aaron Rodgers conversation, but if, I think that offseason chilling in the Hawaii, not hanging in with your team, getting that timing down might affect you a little bit, homeboy. So, all right, Mr. Chill Mode. All right, but one guy you did not mention in your chump is Kyle Pitts, 26th tight end this week. Ended up with, I didn't have it, 3.1 points. I mean, for as high and the hype that you heard about this guy, not too good for Mr. Pitts.
Yeah, right. He's a rookie, and they were pinning on him, so I'm going to kind of give him a pass on that. The other ones are vets.
This guy's giving everybody a pass because they played the Phillies defense.
No, it's not because they played the Philly defense. It's because he was hounded the whole game.
Let's go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about our Week 2 rankings that you can get here first because I know nobody released their rankings yet. We got them for you. Here we go.
Freddie the Jester from TSS Fantasy. As you know, I am a jokester. But one of the things I'm serious about is the health of my car. When my car is not working properly, I take it to the Auto Clinic in St. Cloud, Florida. Anytime my brakes or AC needs to be repaired or I just need general maintenance, I take it directly to the Auto Clinic, where they take care of all my auto needs. They are a complete auto repair shop. If you need repairs done to your vehicle, the Auto Clinic is the place. They can be found at 1524 13th Street, St. Cloud, Florida, 34769, and you can call them at 407-892-8104 to schedule an appointment. You can trust the folks at Auto Clinic like you can trust I'm about to have another snack break.
Since the Jester's in Honduras, I'm wondering what snack he's having now. What's Honduras famous for? You got like anything?
Well, it's in the Caribbean, so I'm gonna go with platanos.
Ooh, all right. Might be some good platanos and tostones tonight, my brother. All right.
The mango.
All right, let's talk about our week 2 rankings. We're going to really deep dive more into this on Friday when we talk about our, by the games and stuff. But let's just take a quick, we'll take a quick look at the quarterbacks. My top 10 this week: Aaron Rodgers versus Detroit. We're just talking about him being a chump. Aaron Rodgers every time comes back strong. It's Monday Night Football and it's Detroit. He is going to be your number 1 guy this week. Kyler Murray, number 2. You can't dismiss to him. And I got Pat Mahomes, number 3, even against that Ravens defense. What I saw against a good Browns defense, it just looked like towards the end, they were just doing whatever they wanted. And, they were just able to do anything against Cleveland. So it was pretty impressive. Russell Wilson against Tennessee, still solid, always that guy. Tom Brady, I got him up high this week because he's playing Atlanta. They're not a very good defense, and they're still at home. I like Josh Allen to bounce back this week against Miami. I hate to say it, but he gives us fits. Gave us a fit last year. Same situation, week 2. I was there. I remember screaming, "Have some fucking pride" to our defense. And it was funny because the stadium was so empty. Literally, the people could hear me because they looked back up at me, and I'm like, anyway, Ryan Tannehill, number 7 at Seattle. I just think that might be one of those fantasy bonanza games. Jameis Winston at Carolina. You can't argue with what he did last week. Justin Herbert versus Dallas. We know that secondary and that defense isn't good. And Justin Herbert played pretty decent last week against a good Washington defense. And Matt Stafford, he made my top 10. It was between him and Dak, but, I put Stafford in because it was just impressive the way he played. And the Colts D just didn't look all that great to me. I wasn't impressed. So in the top 10, you have anyone different or you want to highlight anyone in there?
Okay, so let me highlight some of yours. Mine is a little different. I don't have Aaron Rodgers number 1 this week, but only because I think I have another quarterback that's poised to have a better night. But Aaron Rodgers should, if he wants to get his mind right, he wants to take that ass whooping that he just got last week. When he wants to come back correct, Detroit is a prime team to do it against. But again, I think Detroit's going to give him a much harder game than what everyone suspects because of what they did last week with San Francisco. And Dan Campbell, he's a non-nonsense coach. So again, he said his press conference he's going to be biting people's ankles off. So again, I think he's going to. I believe this is going to be a springboard for them. So I don't think it's going to be as good as what everyone thinks. Kyler Murray is going to be Kyler Murray. Pat Mahomes, they have a tough defense going against Baltimore, but again, you're not going to shut the kid down. And I do like where you have Matt Stafford. I think Matt Stafford showed up a lot last night. He's poised. A lot of people think a lot of the experts on TV, because we're not on TV yet, they think he's going to lead them to the Super Bowl this year. All right. So let's go to mine. Tannehill, I don't really necessarily agree with him at 7. It might be a fantasy bonanza, but I'm not just sold on that yet. My guy, I have at number 1 is Tom Brady because of what he did to the Dallas defense on opening night, and plus that he's playing Atlanta, and they are home in Tampa Bay. Aaron Rodgers I have number 2, Murray at 3, Russell at 4, Mahomes at 5. And, yeah, I think I'm drinking the Kool-Aid here, Cooper, and you're going to laugh at me all night. I got Jalen Hurts at 6 against San Francisco because San Francisco, both their 2 corners are out this week. So, and we're home. I got Lamar Jackson at 7, Herbert at 8 against that Swiss cheese defense of Dallas. I got Dak Prescott and at 9, and I got Josh Allen at 10. I really respect the Miami defense. I really like Xavier Howard. So that's my top 10.
All right, let's go to the running backs. We'll just briefly go through the top 10. I got number 1 this week, Nick Chubb. That might surprise you, but they are playing the Texans, and he was great last week. So he'll be my number 1 back this week. I like Alvin Kamara at number 2 at Carolina. Actually, I have been kind of down on him this week, but I like to see him bounce back this week against Carolina. Zeke Elliott against the Chargers. I got number 3, CMC against the Saints at number 4. Aaron Jones against Detroit. Again, it's Detroit. I think overall the Packers offense can have a good night. Dalvin Cook at number 6 against Arizona. Although, with caution, that could be a Derrick Henry type style game that happened last week. You never know. Might take him out of it. I do have Derrick Henry at number 7 at Seattle. I'm also afraid of both of them there, but they're both great running backs, and I couldn't get them out of my top 10. Najee Harris I have at number 8. I like how much he was involved in that offense going against the Raiders defense. I like that a lot. Austin Eckler at number 9, somebody I'm not high on, but against Dallas's defense. And Antonio Gibson rounding us out top 10 because of the Giants D. What you got, Nick?
All right, so I have everybody that you have, just in a little different order, but I do not have Najee Harris in my top 10. He disappointed me last week. I have him at 11. So we'll start back at the top. So I got CMC number 1, Dalvin Cook number 2, Aaron Jones number 3, Kamara at 4, Chubb at 5, Eckler at 6 because of his receiving out of the backfield, and then Dallas is Dallas. Elliott, he's starting to get my respect back, which he doesn't care about, at 7, and then Henry at 8, and I got to give it to him. Antonio Gibson at 9, and I got to give the respect to Joe Mixon. I have him at number 10. He showed up, so as long as he shows up, I'm going to give him his props. I mean, he did a great job.
Just real one note. Do you know how many targets Austin Eckler had last week?
No, but I'm sure you do.
0, just to let you know.
0.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of crazy. I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe it because I was thinking the same as you. All right, let's go on.
I did.
All right, let's go on to the receivers. Let's go to the top 10. Again, we talked about him being a chump. It's the same narrative for me. Devonta Adams, number 1 receiver this week against Detroit. I got the same narrative, obviously, going on. DeAndre Hopkins, number 2 against Minnesota. Keenan Allen against Dallas. I like him at number 3. Chris Godwin, number 4 against Atlanta. I like Tyreek Hill against Baltimore at number 5. DK Metcalf, number 6. Justin Jefferson at Arizona at 7. Still got him high up there. I think he's bouncing back. A.J. Brown, I like him to bounce back. And we talked about Tannehill. I like that game in general against Arizona. Stephon Diggs, it makes 9 against Miami. Like I said, I think Josh Allen and them will definitely bounce back this week against us, sadly. And I'd like to see, I'm guessing Calvin Ridley is also going to bounce back, number 10 for me against Tampa. What do you got for your top 10, Nick?
Similar than you. I got Adams number 1, Hill at 2nd because Tyreek Hill is going to be Tyreek Hill. I got DK Metcalf, Tennessee number 3, D-Hop 4, Keenan Allen 5 against the Dallas Cowboys defense. Jefferson at 6. I think he's going to bounce back, have a better game. Diggs is going to be Diggs, man. Diggs is going to dig it all game long. Got him at 7. Ridley at 8. A.J. Brown at Seattle at 9. And I dropped Chris Godwin. I dropped him to number 10 against Hotlanta.
Okay. All right. Let's get pretty similar, to say the least. So, I think we're pretty close on the top 10, at least for next week.
Yep.
Let's go to the top 10 for tight ends. I got my number one this week, George Kittle at Philly. Travis Kelce at Baltimore, Hawkinson at Green Bay, Mark Andrews versus KC, Darren Waller at Pittsburgh, number 6, Logan Thomas versus the Giants, Robert Tonyan, I like to bounce back against the Detroit Lions, again, same narrative, Noah Fant against the Jacksonville Jaguars at 8, Gronkowski versus Atlanta at 9, and Kyle Pitts to bounce back at 10 against Tampa. What you got for your top 10, Nick?
Usual suspects, just a little different order. Kittle 1, Hawkinson 2. I think he's going to be a focal point against Green Bay. Kelce at 3. I moved Gronk up to 4 because of Atlanta's defense, which is none. Mark Andrews at KC. Waller, their only receiving option at Pittsburgh. Logan Thomas versus the New York Giants. I kept Tonyan in there. I think they're going to have a bounce back game. I kept him in there at 8. Fant at 9 playing the Jacksonville Kitty Cats. And then I got Kyle Pitts. I moved him down to 10.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. Now, we're going to dive more, like I said, into our rankings on Friday. So make sure you check us out there and go to tssfantasy.com. You can check out our rankings. Everything will be up tomorrow, or you can go there now to check it out. And again, compare it up. We're throwing them out there early, so that way you can look at ours early. Then you can compare it to the rest as you go. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Ooh, that smells so good. What'd you guys get?
I got the Rasta pasta. It's really good. What'd you get?
I got the shrimp and white rice. It's covered in this amazing jerk sauce.
Did you know it's their signature jerk sauce that they actually make here, and we're taking a bottle home? I got the jerk chicken. I'll give you some of mine if you let me try yours.
No, I'm not sharing this. This is all mine.
And I'm already done.
Wow.
And don't forget, if you're looking for a Jamaican cuisine, real spicy finger licking good, check out Irie Vibes at 313 Central Avenue, Albany, New York. Remember, that's where the licking is good.
That's where the licking is good indeed. All right, so folks, I just want to close out tonight's show with a quick Commissioner's Corner. I'm going to have to get some theme music for this, but just really quickly, I wanted to let you guys know that even the commission himself, I got 7 leagues I'm in. I started out 0-7. I did not win one game, not one. The commission himself can make mistakes too. Guess what? You see me panic? No, it's time to chill, relax. Everything's fine. It's one game. Whole season to go. Plenty of opportunities to make up ground, and especially during the bye weeks, that's when you really start making your money. So if anyone lost first game, don't fret. You didn't go 0-7. You're good. All right, guys, we're going to close this out. We are the fantasy show of the people, and we do appreciate you. Don't forget to check out tssfantasy.com for all the fun, or go to Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. You can check out our merchandise and all the other sports podcasts in our network. Don't forget also to check us out on Unhinged Radio. I was going to say Radio Unhinged every morning at 8 a.m. and make us part of your morning commute. We appreciate you, and we are out.
Do, do, do.